He is Dr. Silvio Cozzetto, the owner of Be Well Lifestyle Centers here in Metro Detroit. Silvio, great to be with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's talk about longevity. And, there are lots of things that people are trying to do every single day to extend their lives. What is your take on that?
So there is no magic pill, magic food, nutrition, exercise. There's nothing that's going to tell you that you're going to live longer. You have no ability to say, if I eat this food, I won't get hit by a bus. But I can tell you, you can live a better life. You can live a much healthier today.
And where do you start when it comes to that?
Well, you start by looking at yourself and getting rid of your bullshit. Did you ever hear the old saying, if you hang out with 5 wealthy people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 poor people, you'll be the 6th. Well, if you hang out with 5 overweight, unhealthy people, you'll be the 6th. So really, I'm not saying get rid of all your friends, but become the beacon for your friends if you don't want to stay away from those kind of people, or find a different group of people, or go to a gym, start to hang out with those people. If you truly see yourself as that, look at what you see yourself as and become that by surrounding yourself with that.
When it comes to health, and there are lots of different areas of this, but weight loss being one of them. And there are so many people trying to do so many different things to lose weight, whether it's exercise, whether it's pills, fasting, different diets. How do you look at that overall on people's attempts to try and lose weight and in their minds get to a weight where they are quote unquote healthy?
So back in the day, if you look at the old pictures in the 70s and 60s, or if you go back to the tribes that are hunting for their own food, what are they doing? They're waking up, they're hunting, so they're exercising, they're running around, they're eating their fresh whole foods, then they're grazing on berries and grasses throughout the day, and then they're going to sleep at sunset. Now, obviously, we're not going to be doing that, especially in certain cities. You can emulate certain things. You wake up in the morning, you run on a treadmill. There's your running. You lift some weights. There's your lifting. You have whole foods, whether it's, fresh fruit and vegetable from local farmers, support local, or it's beef or bison or whatever from local people. Make sure you're eating your whole foods. There's your exercise. Go to bed when the sun sets or a couple hours after the sun sets. Wake up when the sun rises. It's that simple.
You talked about whole foods, and certainly we know the benefits of those. What about the stuff that's bad for you? And, you drive down the street, and what do you see? You see fast food restaurant after fast food restaurant, and this has been the case for decades now. Why? Because it's cheap and it's convenient. When you look at these places and you look at the impact that some of their products have on people's health, what comes to mind?
So it overwhelms me if how do you take a bunch of chemicals, make it taste like something, and then someone goes, "Oh, this shit's good. It tastes wonderful." It's like me saying, if I said to you, and I'm serious about this, I like to take things to extremes. If I looked at you and said, "Give your 4-year-old some cocaine," right, you'd laugh at me. Every person would. I really fucking hope everyone would laugh at me. Yet some of the chemicals that they're ingesting in some of the foods that they're eating are worse. And we've just kind of trained ourselves that the cocaine's bad for our kid, but these chemical additives are fine. I mean, look at your toothpaste. It says, if swallowed, contact poison control immediately. And then your 2-year-old kids brushing their teeth, they're swallowing this shit, especially because it's bubblegum flavored. Like, come on. Logic.
So I mentioned fast food, right? And there are a variety of places you can go, but one thing they all have, soda, pop, whatever you want to call it. And there are so many people that love to drink it. How do you get yourself out of a place where you are addicted to soda? Because a lot of people, let's face it, there are drugs that people get addicted to. There are foods that they're addicted to. A lot of people are addicted to drinking the soda, the pop.
So I am a sugarholic. I love sugar. When I'm stressed, I want sugar. When I'm stressed, when I'm tired, I want vanilla ice cream. I love vanilla ice cream. I can eat pounds of vanilla ice cream. So I understand. I understand the addiction. I don't eat it anymore. If I do, it's rare because I feel like shit when I do. So I understand. I'm not saying quit cold turkey because you'll fail. Period. You'll fail. What I'm saying is simple. Take a step. Take one little step. If you're eating like you and I talked about, before, if you're eating 4 pieces of chocolate cake a day, eat 3 the next day. Eat 2 the next day. Eat 1 for a couple weeks. Eat a half. And as you start to feel better and look better, it will become addicting. Those are addictions. Be an addict. It's funny because a lot of American psychology says, let's cure the addiction. No, be a fucking addict. If you're an addict, be a really good addict, but be addicted to exercise, be addicted to eating healthy, be addicted to eating berries. If you like that sugar, be addicted to fruit sugar. There's ways around it.
So there is something to that, what you just said. If you can become addicted to stuff that's bad for you, on the flip side, you can absolutely become addicted to things that are good for you.
Absolutely. There is not a man or woman in this world that you can't tell me when they finally can look down and see their feet, they're not going to be addicted to that amazing feeling. And it's going to cause an addiction to the exercise.
It's funny because you and I were talking about this before. When I first started cutting meat out of my diet, it was a very gradual process, and I still craved it, and I
Correct.
craved it, and occasionally I would just say, you know what, screw it. I've been really good this week. I'm going to have a burger. And then the next day or that evening, I would feel terrible.
Correct.
And that feeling was enough for me to say, you know what, it's not worth it. And is there something to that in your mind?
So I am in a wonderful profession where I see people all day long coming into me and saying, I have no problems. I feel great. And then I work on them and they go, oh my God, I feel amazing. And I'm like, well, how did you feel amazing if you always felt amazing? And they're like, well, I just didn't realize how shitty I actually felt. So we start to think as, well, I'm a little puffy. That's normal. I'm a little depressed. That's normal. I'm in a little bit of pain. That's normal. It's old age. It comes with getting older. It comes with my profession. I sit a lot. That's all bullshit. That's the excuses we make.
So let's tie that together. Physiological health impacting psychological health. What is the connection there?
So I'll give you a quick one. During COVID, I got really, really, really sick. And to the point to where if I walked 10 feet, I'd drop to the floor. I just could not breathe. And, overcame it, stayed away from the medicines. I took myself through, it was 40 days, I think it was about 40 days of really working with herbs and tons of nutrients. I did the opposite of what the government told us to do. I went outside, I got fresh air, I breathed, I got sun, the vitamin D. I did vitamin IVs. I ate really clean, really healthy. I'm not saying that's for everybody, knock on wood, it helped me. And then a couple months later, I was at the gym, started lifting again. I gained a lot of weight during COVID because I went through this crazy depression. Anyways, another story. And I was at the gym and I started lifting heavier and heavier. And one day I was lifting and my fingers turned blue and I had chest pain and I started to get really nauseous and I went, what the hell? Called up a friend of mine who's a cardiologist, phenomenal cardiologist, and he said, get in right away. It sounds like you may have had a heart attack. They ran every blood test. They did EKGs on me. They sent me out for ultrasounds and MRI, and they said, you did not have a heart attack. You have a swollen heart. One of the side effects of COVID. And it's called cardiomegaly. So long story short, my heart was a little swollen. When I put so much pressure on my body, lifting really heavy weights, it compressed my heart a little bit and, threw my body, my physiology into a fucking frenzy. So I said to him, by the way, he's a vegan. I said, what should I do? And he said, what should the normal person do? Go on all this medication. What should you do? You know what to do. Go fix yourself. So I did. I started eating the organ meats that I need to eat. And this isn't for everybody. I'm not saying this is for everybody. This was for me. I took the blood tests. I analyzed everything. I started to implement organ meats, proper sleep, more yoga, meditation, tons and tons of different types of herbs. And I started to study, actually enhanced my studies a lot. There's always a blessing that comes from something bad. This blessing was I enhanced my thought processes in the world of holistic healing. And now my heart is not swollen. I can lift heavy again. I've lost unbelievable amounts of weight And it's funny because my girlfriend says to me, you actually practice what you preach. And so that strengthened my belief that when you do things naturally, the outcome is no side effects. The outcome, actually, there is a side effect. The side effect is you beat it and you feel great about yourself. And I'll go on record and say this: there is no cure from man-made products. There is only a Band-Aid and side effect. And although, like I stated in one of the last conversations we had, I do believe in medicine. It did save my father's life. Thank God for the medical profession. They gave me my years with my father. But the only cure I can tell you is, the only true cure is natural healing.
You brought up two different activities that you can do that are tied to holistic medicine, yoga and meditation. I want to ask you about both of them because I know that you practice both. So let's start with yoga. What are the biggest benefits of that?
So the benefits to yoga are going to be the calming of the body. So I'm going to generalize it. And so all you yogis out there, I'm just generalizing it. Vinyasa and yin and all that stuff. Just the benefit to yoga is the ability to calm your mind in a strenuous situation. The ability of meditation is to calm your mind when the world is running around. Anyone that says to you, clear your mind, bullshit. You can't clear your mind. Your mind's always thinking. You can only stop allowing it to interfere with your peace. So that in itself, calming your body, clearly thinking, is going to have unbelievable effects on your mental ability.
And yoga is done for the most part in a dark, quiet room, no phones, no technology. I mean, it's not to say that other forms of exercise are bad, because clearly they're not, but you look at most workout studios or a CrossFit gym, it's loud, there's
Correct.
people shouting, you've
Correct.
got all this commotion going on. Yoga is a completely different environment than that.
So I'll tell you right now that I love all exercise, and if you're exercising, no matter what you're doing, I don't care if you're doing curves, Zumba,
Going for a walk in your
anything,
neighborhood, yeah.
Exercise is great for you. And you can have all these physiologists and nutritionists and RDs telling me that this is better and this is better, whatever. They're all good for you. There's different aspects to different things. Pilates, phenomenal. I don't do Pilates or take Pilates or practice Pilates, for respect for the people that do. It's phenomenal for the spine. As a matter of fact, it's one of the best things you can do for your spine. Yoga as well, one of the best things you can do for your spine. Are there Pilates studios that might calm your mind? I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But for me, the mind, the spirit, the inner self is so important because we forget about it. We look at the outer self. You don't walk up to a man or woman and go, wow, she has the greatest inner spirit I've ever seen. We're always looking at the outside. The inside is what dictates how the outside will look.
Okay, what about meditation? And perhaps some people are more skeptical when it comes to meditating, but you do see a lot of people, and especially successful people, Silvio, who say that they start their day with meditation. Why is that?
So everybody meditates. I'll give you a good example. You ask anybody, and I'll ask you, have you ever had a time where you just, for like 3 minutes, zoned out and went, oh, where the hell was I?
Yeah, sure.
That's meditation. Your body just naturally did it. You are just basically stopping time, stopping the world around you, and just blanking out for a little bit. Daydreaming, meditation. I go to the gym sometimes and I put my hands on each side of the rail, and while I'm walking, I close my eyes and I meditate while I'm walking. Meditation doesn't mean putting your fingers into the Om position with your legs crossed and, Om. Yeah, that's maybe that's one form of meditation. Meditation can be anything you want. Meditation is just the ability to shut the heck up while the chaotic world around you is still going.
I want to dive deeper into that because that's exactly where I was going next. Our society, the world we live in today, it is just so busy, right? Especially here in the country we live in.
Yes.
It's just go, 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 go from work to, after work functions to picking up your kids to taking them to their activities to this and that, running errands. A lot of people out there, Silvio, are tired.
Correct.
How do we combat that?
So you've heard the story a million times, and I'll tell you, my father is one of the story. 6 weeks after my father retired, had his first heart attack. You hear it all the time. This person lived a healthy life, then they retired, and then they died. You know, why? Because we're just constantly under this adrenaline. It's keeping us going. It's keeping us going. Then we stop the adrenaline and we fall the fuck apart. So what do? You teach your body to fall the fuck apart every night for a little bit and get used to falling the fuck apart so that one day you don't just hugely fall the fuck apart.
So what does that mean by doing that every night? Are you referring to sleep?
No, I'm saying meditation and sleep.
Okay.
Like, let the adrenals relax. You know, my boyfriend and I broke up. My husband and I are getting a divorce. Work is going to fire me. My day is crazy. Life is horrible. Just, it's going to be okay. It's okay.
But how do you get yourself to that point? Because there are a lot of people, I'm sure, who listen to this who would love to, be in that place, but they have a hard time letting all of that go or pushing it to the side, whether they're trying to meditate or get a good night's sleep.
So there's a old friend of mine who's a big yogi, and I remember years and years ago he said, if you think this sucks, it does. If you think this is great, it does. Or it is. No matter what you believe, it's going to be there. So if your life is crazy, chaotic, going through a divorce, you're on the verge of bankruptcy, and you're happy, you're still going through that, and you're sad, you're still going through that. And I'm not saying hey, I'm going through bankruptcy and a divorce, yay. I'm saying this is what's happening in my life. Also, this is what's happening in my life. So it's one aspect. I'm going through a divorce. So here's a good rule. Get rid of the word but. I really want to be happy, but I'm going through a divorce. How about this? I really want to be happy, and I'm going through a divorce. So now you've got the negative aspect, and I really want to be happy. How do you become happy?
So it's and instead of but.
Yeah, get rid of the word but. I took seminars years ago, and I remember when they first stated this, 15, 20 years ago, get rid of the word but. And I went, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then the guy used an example with this young lady. Tell me your biggest but. And she goes, well, I really want to go on vacation, but I can't afford it. He goes, okay, well, you really want to go on vacation. I don't have money to go on vacation. So now you have a desire to go on vacation. That's one thing. And you need to find a way to make money to reach your desires. Instead of using the excuse that you don't, I'm going through divorce. I'm broke. I have a bad life. Okay, great. That's one thing. But if you say, I really want to be successful, but I'm going through bankruptcy, there's your excuse. I really want to have a successful life. Done.
Silvio, when it comes to our health, whether it's physical or mental, how do people compartmentalize? Because I'm sure you've met a lot of people, they have one thing wrong with them and it just completely throws them off. So what is your advice when it comes to that?
So I'll tell you right now, I live a very structured life, and as a result of going through the structuring and compartmentalizing everything, I started to push away everybody. Horribly, I did. And because they were interfering with my ability. So I'd say things in moderation instead of cold, or all at once is probably a good, good goal. If you try to do it all at once, you're probably going to fail. Hate to say it, but you will. Look at something beautiful. There's a book by a gentleman named Viktor Frankl. He was in the concentration camps, and what kept him going, he's what they call the father of modern psychology. What kept him going was his beautiful thoughts. So think of something. I mean, just anything. Look at a freaking flower and think about how beautiful it is. Smell something you like. Go bake a cake if you like making cake. Do something that brings a little bit of joy to your life, and then do something else, and then do something else. I promise you it will happen.
So on the topic of doing something that brings you happiness, let's circle back to exercise for a moment, because I want to ask you about the psychological effects of exercise. You were saying that you like to lift weights. For me, it's running. Everybody's got their thing. But I'm sure for you, like me, after you finish working out, you feel great, and it carries you through the rest of your day. Is there something to that?
Absolutely. It's endorphins. I don't like running. I get bored very easily. I'm the guy that can't do more than a 15-minute massage because I get bored. Admittedly, I'm completely hyperactive still. But whatever. To each his own, to each her own. I love the feeling of the endorphin rush. I like the accomplishment of, wow, I just lifted what I used to lift when I was 18 years old. Or, I'm sure for you, I just ran farther or faster or with more endurance than I have in a long time. These are little goals. Also, when someone says, wow, you look good. I don't believe in true altruism. It's impossible to say that I do everything for no reason. Bullshit. I like when people say to me, oh, you look great. It feels good. And that is an addiction to itself. There's more endorphin release. And it really comes down to your endorphins. What are you releasing?
In a similar sense, you can also find that feeling by changing your habits, whether it's sleeping better, whether it's less time with your social media, or whether it's eating a healthier diet.
Correct. It would be arrogant for you to believe that through your depression, Pringles will bring you happiness. Or for me, ice cream, because it's going to bring me happiness while I'm consuming it. And then when I feel like shit later and I can't sleep later and the next day I'm tired, the happiness is gone. The whole initial reaction has dissipated and I'm back to my miserable self. But exercise and nutrition, those last forever.
So at your core, you are a master chiropractor.
I wouldn't call myself a master. I think I'm just really good at what I do.
Okay, fair enough. But you're a chiropractor. At what point did the nutrition side enter into the equation for you? Because obviously you wouldn't have started Be Well and incorporated all of these smoothies and bowls and wraps and salads that obviously are going to make people feel better about themselves. At what point did that become a part of your vision with your business?
So, like I said, get rid of the word but. I was a but man. I grew up loving holistic nutrition, so I decided to go to medical school. As I started to study, I realized it's not holistic, it's not nutrition. So then I went to physical therapy school. I realized it's not holistic, it's not nutrition. And again, I'm not knocking anything, for me only. So then I started to take my registered dietitian classes and look at that, not nutrition. And I'm not knocking dietitians. They saved my dad's life. So again, I don't want people to think I'm talking negative. I'm talking about myself right now. So then I found chiropractic and I thought, wow, these people are really helping people through a nutritional aspect. They're helping the body's functional movement, and I love functional movement. But then I realized that they're missing a lot. They're missing nutrition. I'll say it as much as I can say it about the medical profession. Chiropractors don't know shit about nutrition. We don't take that many nutrition classes. We know general nutrition. Do we know it better than a lot of other fields? Yeah. But if you really want to study it, you got to study it. You have to go through it. And that's number one. Number two, I used but a lot. I really want to open up a company that gives people total health, but I'm afraid. But don't have the money for it. But it may fail. But. And then I, talked to some people and took some seminars and hired business coaches. And they said, go fail. Just go fail. Go do it and fail. So I did it. And holy shit. And I'm humbly proud of what Be Well has become. I call it my second child.
That's really cool. And a part of that is, all of your offerings in terms of what you have on your menu are incorporating fresh and natural ingredients. And you've heard this term. It's become a bit of a buzzword, if you will, in the last couple of years. It's gut health.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
So what does the gut do? It gets rid of toxins. What happens if it's not healthy? It doesn't get rid of toxins. What happens when toxins build up in the body? You get sick. Done. It's literally that simple. So gut health. And the problem is it's such an obscured, what is gut health? Is taking Metamucil gut health? No. Is eating high fiber foods gut health? Not necessarily. Is probiotic gut health? No. It's really is your body producing the waste the way it should? How do you know? I don't know. I can't predict that. Send out your fecal matter, do your analysis, do your blood work. You'll know your gut health based on your blood work.
So you recommend to every single person to get their blood work done, whether it's through their primary care physician or doing it through some other place like you do.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate for full blood panels. All of your hormones, all of your vitamin levels, start with that. And then supplementation. I meet these people that are like, I'm on progesterone. Why? Well, I went to my medical doctor and they just gave it to me because I said I was tired. But did they test your progesterone? Well, no. Well, then how do they know you're deficient? I'll give you a good example. Everyone's deficient in vitamin D.
Especially here in Michigan from about December through March.
Correct. But are you deficient in vitamin D or are you deficient in calcium? Because calcium helps to carry vitamin D as well. So you can be deficient in calcium, have an abundance of vitamin D, and not have vitamin D because it's not doing anything. So really testing your blood level.
What's your overall message to people? Because nobody wants to feel pain. Everybody wants to live a happier life. And for the vast majority of us, that means being healthy, and staying out of doctors' offices and being able to do the things that you enjoy. So, if you're on your soapbox and you're trying to speak broadly to people, what's your message?
I'm a goofy guy, and I purposely don't take life seriously because I wasn't a goofy guy and I took life seriously, and I realized I wasn't spreading joy. I love people. I love smiles. If someone comes to my office and smiles, I'm a better person for it in my heart. I can promise you I've gone through depression. I've gone through wanting to commit suicide. I have gone through being obese. I have gone through it all. I was a raw vegan. I ate tons and tons of beef. I've gone to both sides. I may not be going through what someone else is going through. We all have our stories, and I love everyone for their stories. But there's not a person in this world that can't find some peace, some joy, and some better ability in their life. And if I can give them just one little hair of hope, it would be my honor, my privilege.
Well said. Dr. Silvio Cozzetto, great to be with you.
Thank you so much.